In this unit of our InDesign CS6 course, we're going to place a couple of custom buttons on the bottom of this screen right here. One that will allow us to print this form after it's been filled out, and then another one that will actually allow us to submit the form and place our order to Total Training for either online subscriptions or packaged DVD courses. To make that easy on ourselves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to my buttons library, and I'm just going to select this one right here. So I'm going to hold the mouse button down, and I'm going to drag it down and place a button just like this on the screen. Let me zoom in closer and close the library for a bit. And I'm going to get my selection tool and drag it over just like so. And maybe make this button wider so it matches up with the right side margin. Now, as I go to my Buttons and Forms panel, what I'll see is that I've got options that are selected here for what this is called. And this one's going to be my print form button. So instead of calling it button 2, I'm going to name it print form. Now I've got a number of options that are available here. In this case, what it's going to do is it's set up to go to URL. I don't want that option. I'm going to delete the selected action, and I'm going to create a brand new button. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it print that form. Now this shows what it'll look like in the normal state, just as it exists right now. It shows the rollover state. So if I take my cursor and roll over, it'll look a little bit different. It'll look a little bit darker. And then finally, it'll show another option for what happens if I click it. I don't really much care about that in this case, but all those button options are available. The description that I want to place on this button is going to be here, and what I'm going to say is print this order. And I'm going to make that printable. Now, if I was using Adobe Acrobat Professional or Adobe Lifecycle, I could add a label on that button. But this is just my description. I'll add a label in just a bit. If I want to see a quick preview of what this button is going to look like when I roll over it, what I can do is click on this Preview Spread button down here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have the ability to add the label as I would in, say, Acrobat Pro, so I'm going to put a manual label over the top here. And I just want to make the function happen directly in InDesign. So, if I wanted to do that, what I'd do is I'd simply get my type tool and create a brand new field. And I'll say print this form. Now I'm going to make this big and bold for my button. So I'm going to change the style that I've got here from Minion Pro. And I'm going to make that Arial bold 14 points on 14-point leading. I'm going to move that over this button, just like so. So it's centered in this highlighted area. And that'll place the text print this form over the top of that button. I'm going to select both of these items. Actually, let me change that from form to order. There we go. That looks pretty good. And move it just a hair over to be centered. Let me highlight both of these items, and I'm going to go Control C to copy, Control V to paste. If you're working with a Mac, the keyboard shortcut, of course, would be Command C and Command V to copy and paste. And I'm going to select this button right here, go back to my buttons and forms, and in this case, I'm going to name this not Print Form 2, I'm going to name it Submit Form. And for the description, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make this Submit Order. Finally, I'm going to do exactly the same thing over here with this text. Let me just double click in there to place my cursor. And I'm going to type Submit Order and adjust the scaling slightly so I can effectively center this. And I have my second button built just like my first one. The only task that remains is that we need to assign an action to the Submit button. I'll let you do this on your own. Just follow the same steps you did when you added the Print Form action and choose Submit Form from the drop-down menu.